Chris, you've obviously been a part of a couple of enormously successful bands, but you've also got an enormously successful solo career as well. How would you compare the process of writing, recording, touring as a solo artist versus as a member of a band?
First and foremost, it's busier. Not that I wasn't busy in a band situation, but especially being on the road, like I'm on the road all the time, and really I end up taking breaks to record. For example, with Scream, I was out on the road in support of Carry On, and when I made the decision to go make Scream with Timbaland, it was basically a 10-minute phone call. I canceled the tour and went right in and did that, and then started actually doing Scream shows where I was playing the whole album from beginning to end 8 months before the album was even released. So it's like there's a lot of stuff like being a solo artist where it's difficult to be in a group and get 4, 5, 6 people to all like want to be out on the road and performing as much as I do.
Right.
I'm just old school that way. I like to perform music. I like to write it, record it. I just
Absolutely.
It's my family and music. That's kind of what it's about for me.
Cool. Excellent. I've heard some people describe your new album, Scream, as a bit of a concept album, and I don't know if you think that's accurate or not, but for those fans who maybe haven't had a chance to dig into the lyrics yet, could you speak to any underlying theme or themes of the album?
Well, there isn't really like a lyrical theme.
Okay.
It was more musically sort of conceptual as like an hour of continuous music, like a 190 album. But then again, having actually sort of looked at it the other way, I started looking at the lyrics and from beginning to end, even all the way to the hidden track. And I realized I probably should have been more on my game in the beginning of promoting the record and BS'd my way into saying that it is a lyrically themed record, because you could. I mean, I've listened to albums that people have said have a central theme before, and I couldn't find it.
I know exactly what you mean.
And actually, in Scream, there's sort of like some new characters that I've never really created in terms of writing lyrics, because the musical backdrop is different.
Sure.
And there is kind of this common thread of a story of like this character going through his life, particularly from the beginning, where it's just sort of starts out this kind of careless party attitude, confident person, all the way to the hidden track, which is a guy who's kind of lamenting that his best days are behind him, kind of thing. So I guess I could have presented it that way.
One of the things I found in the lyrics, I felt like it had this sense of embracing change in some of the songs. Would you say that's accurate?
You mean lyrically?
In some of the songs, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think that there's some of it is like embracing change. Some of it is like I've changed maybe, and I've already embraced it, and I'm kind of moving on.
Right.
I'm already into some other new world or new territory.
Excellent. Okay. What kinds of sounds can we expect from you in the future? Do you see yourself doing additional albums like you've done with Timbaland in that direction?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think one of the things about making an album like this one with Timbo, it's such a different process. And a lot of it, to quote David Arnold, really is seeing how the other guy does it. It's not so much what they do, but seeing how they do it. And it'd be hard to go through this album and not like take away a lot from it. I feel like it already has influenced some of the stuff that I'm doing now that nobody's heard yet, and just some of the music that I'm working on, and not in ways that people will really be able to predict. But I think that from Euphoria Morning till now, I've made a lot of huge leaps, but in different ways. Euphoria Morning was like a songwriter's leap, a musician's leap. Like I actually really learned how to play guitar as an instrument and song arranging, and Scream is like a leap in a different direction of like embracing a complete new way of writing songs and recording, and new technology, and no matter what anyone wants to say about modern music, it came from the same place rock came from. It came from the street, like writing and creating music that's loop based, for example, and sample based was based on the fact that somebody with no money could use samples and loops to create music without having to even have an instrument. I mean, it really came from the same place rock music came from. And this was my opportunity to be able to like really basically jump into that world full force, kind of in one fell swoop, in a way that you can't do with a band full of instrumentalists. You know, you just can't. You can't make an album like this.
Absolutely.
With the drummer standing there wondering why 9 out of 10 songs don't have live drums.
Exactly. Exactly. And what you're saying about the evolution of your songwriting actually leads right into my next question, which is really more specifically about the evolution of your lyric writing. It seems like there are a lot of songs that I've read the lyrics to lately that don't seem like they would have fit quite as well on some of your earlier material in Soundgarden. And I was just curious about that evolution, if you could speak to, you know, what's maybe contributed to your songwriting, lyric writing in particular.
Well, I don't pay much attention to it, mainly because I think that's dangerous. I think that you know, try to put my own lyrics into my own microscope is a little bit it'll put me in the direction of thinking about it too much, and then I'm not actually just sort of flowing with it. But I suppose, in big sweeping ways, address it sort of personally and mentally. And one of them, like one big moment for me, I think, was in Bad Motor Finger, where I had felt like previous to that album, I was really not injecting a lot of like my personal feelings and personal experiences into the song lyrics. It was more like word painting, and it was more sort of an art. There was an arty distance, I think, to it. And at some point, I kind of got scared. I didn't dislike what I was doing, but I started to think, well, maybe I'm not doing this because I can't do it, and that freaked me out. And on Bad Motor Finger, there was specifically a line, looking California, feeling Minnesota, where I'd written that down. It was very sort of, you know, of the moment, sort of came off the top of my head as that was sort of literally how I was looking and feeling. And I thought, that's really stupid, and that would be an embarrassing thing to put into a song. And then I decided, well, maybe that's the whole point, and I put it in the song. And then within like a year, there was a movie called Feeling Minnesota, and every time I would perform that song, the crowd would actually scream out that particular line for some reason. And that was like a big moment where I realized, oh no, there is to open yourself up to personal feelings and things where somebody might actually be able to make fun of you. That's actually where the magic is, and the strength is, and that's where the balls are. And that's where rock really is.
Absolutely.
You know? That's where and so that was a big thing. And you know, lately I've been thinking about it lyrically too. Like there has to be a certain amount of reinvention as a lyricist. There just has to be. Otherwise, you're doing like what Tom Waits refers to as writing the same song over again and again and again and again and again. And as time goes on, I really, you know, I do have to sort of think, you know, what other corners have I not shined a light into yet in terms of myself as a lyricist that is going to be something that's new and completely different. Maybe recognizable as me, but something fresh, or maybe not even recognizable as me. I don't know.